And President Trump, Roz, has been highly critical of the UN as he prepares to address this assembly for the first time. A lot of foreign leaders, we know have not met Trump, and this is really going to be the first time they get a firsthand look at him. So what can we expect?
Yes, that's absolutely right. President Trump has been to some G20 and G7 summits, but this is a much bigger stage, and a lot more world leaders will get to meet him. He's actually going to spend 4 full days at the UN General Assembly, which is longer than his predecessors, George Bush and Barack Obama, spent. So he really has a lot of meetings planned with leaders from Africa, the Middle East, Asia, of course, on North Korea, and plenty to talk about. The centerpiece of his time there will be Tuesday's address to the full UN General Assembly and talk about an eagerly anticipated speech.
Right. I've heard it being described as like a speed dating for foreign leaders, right? But it's not exactly pleasant experience, Roz. What usually comes out of this? Might we expect anything to come out of this week and the discussions between the president and other leaders?
Well, one of the things that Trump is expected to talk about is, his calls for great reform to the United Nations. He's been very critical, as you say, and he'd like to see reforms. He'd like to see cost-cutting and more, basically, cost awareness. So I think he'll be prodding on that front. Apparently, his UN ambassador, Nikki Haley, has pretty good relations with senior leadership at the UN. So, Trump could get some real traction there. Haley is one of the leaders who have actually seen Trump's speech, and she said on Friday that the speech slaps the right people, it hugs the right people, and comes out very strongly in the end. So, it's always good to know who to slap and when, and apparently Trump has that all under control.